5:30, I'm calling to order the City of Bandera City Council public hearing. We're at Bandera City Hall, 511 Main Street, and it is Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. All council members are present, city treasurer is present, city secretary is present, and marshal is present, as well as our observers here. Item A is discussion about the,
She's not here.
oh, Tony's not here? I thought you said Tony was here.
No, I said she's not here. Darcy is. She's not here.
So Tony is not here.
Clarification.
Don't tell me
For the
Tony's here,
record.
Tony's not here. Okay. Item A is discussion about the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department's Texas Recreation and Parks Accounts Program proposed park project. Cindy Metro was supposed to be here from Langford. I don't know where she is to speak on this.
It's just part of the process for the Parks and Wildlife grant. We have to have a public hearing.
So we can postpone this
Because it's
to
in the
give our
wetlands.
details on the project. Moving on.
Maybe she'll show up.
If she does, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Item B, discussion about the proposed amendment to the 2020 Texas Community Development Block Grant Program contract number 722011 with the Texas Department of Agriculture Office of Rural Affairs to amend the scope of work for the water improvements activity associated with the contract. Derek, if you would like to speak to council on this, this is the thing that we started, and it was first a water project. Oh, Jonathan Tifa Teller, he's gonna talk to us. It was first a water line project, then it became meter project, and because it's all within the same scope of work, we still need to have a public hearing so the public can have input on the change in the project.
That's correct, that's correct. So Mayor's exactly right. Thank you for having me tonight, council. In summary, to reiterate what the mayor said, this was originally a citywide project to do a water line improvement on Bandera Boulevard. At the time, we were working with Martin Park and doing investigations and exposing the existing line to really assess the current conditions. And when we did that, we discovered that the existing line was not in need of repair. It's actually the correct size that it needs to be according to our model. We were misled with outdated block maps and information. So from there, we moved forward and sat down with the mayor and public works director and assessed like what are the other needs we want to focus on, and that's when we came to a smart water meter project throughout the city. It was one of the list. We have a certain criteria of different projects that qualifies, and the smart water meters was the next one on the list. So that's one that we wanted to move forward on. And so this public hearing is pretty much just paperwork and everything that we need to do in the background for Texas Department of Agriculture, and just kind of their checklist of things that we need to do in coordinating with the city and letting them know that we're changing a project that was a water line project that we no longer need to do to a smart water meter project.
And it's for residential water.
That's correct.
Residential, correct. And I want to explain too to those of you who are not familiar with the project, these meters have been out and they've been approaching us for years about installing them, but we never really had the money to do it. But we get better tracking of our water usage. It saves in employee time at meter reading time. So this is a benefit all the way around for the city. It's $275,000.
It's $215,000
$15,000.
from budgetary numbers. Looking at it from our end, it looks like we can replace all of the residential meters that the city of Bandera services within that fund.
So, questions, comments?
Why are commercial accounts excluded from that? I'm not going to assume it's because of the grant, but it probably is.
Yes, sir.
Just one of the qualifiers.
That's right. It's a CDBG community block development, and that's their focus. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Has to be the residential.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could come back later at a different point in time, funds allowing, with a different project that's outside of the scope of this, if the city wanted to replace those.
Yeah. A lot of these grants, and one similar to it, and you'll hear it all the time, is that it's focused on like your income, your low to moderate income, and how it allocates the funds. And so that's why it's never really commercial, but mostly residential focused.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Questions, comments? Anybody?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right then, any word from Cindy?
No, the only update I can provide at this time is Cindy and I and you attempted to met with the Parks and Wildlife Department man that's in charge of the grant. We met down at the location site for the playground, and we have to do a couple of things that they've already started the process on. One was to have a survey of the property and then have an endangered species test done just to be sure there's not anything endangered there before they would move forward, and then have a public hearing because it's in the wetland or the flood plain, not the way, but playgrounds are allowed in that area. So Langford's already started working on that process, and we've been in contact with the Parks and Wildlife person, and he's been out and everything's going good.
May I?
Of course.
This is going in conjunction with the playground we've already been approved for. This is in the same area. It's gonna be a further development. It's gonna be a splash pad, I believe.
No, this is still for the playground.
Oh, this is still for the playground, I
Yeah.
beg your pardon.
Yes.
Okay. Rebecca?
Who does the endangered species assessment?
They contracted out, Langford does. I don't know who they contracted to, but I don't know. You know? No.
Sometimes they'll do them themselves, and then sometimes, depending on what it is, they may sub it out.
Cool. Thank
Anything
you.
else, council?
That's all.
So is this sufficient for the first public hearing without the grant administrator present?
I believe so,
Check.
since we really don't have any further details at this point.
Okay.
Any questions on the Texas Parks and Wildlife grant for the playground?
Or anything in the wetland.
All right then, council, in a case like that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Rebecca. Darcy seconds. Discussion? All in favor? All in favor, none opposed. 5:37, this meeting is adjourned.